Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about why we decided to move to the Netherlands from South Africa. Picture this. You're in your 20s, you've always had a dream of living abroad, but you don't really know what to do to achieve the dream and you don't really know where to begin. This is the video I wish I could have had a year ago when we decided to start the process with making the move to the Netherlands. I want to preface this video by saying that we were very intentional in choosing the country that we did. The caveat here being that both Jacques and I are professionals, qualified professionals. My husband is a chartered accountant and I am a qualified attorney, so that definitely makes it a little bit different. My husband was able to obtain a skilled workers visa and I have a Dutch passport, so I'd say that there was more stress on him getting a job than there was for me. I can do a full video on the process of actually applying for jobs and everything you have to do subsequent to getting the position, like the visas and the paperwork and everything we needed to do, but that's not this video. The focus of this video today is why we decided to move from South Africa to the Netherlands. Before we get started, if you are new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button down below and like if you enjoy this video. Today I'm going to be discussing our reasons and I'm going to separate it into two portions. The first is the pull factors, meaning the factors we considered that pulled us towards the Netherlands, and the second element is the push factors, meaning the elements about South Africa that were pushing us out of the country. So first of all, something that we were looking for was work-life balance. The Dutch people and their labor laws put an emphasis on work and life balance. Jacques and I love being outside, we love spending time in nature, we like doing extreme activities and cooking and pursuing all of our passion projects. So choosing a place that emphasized work-life balance as much as we emphasize it was really important to us. The second pull factor is education. The Netherlands is quite reputable for having one of the best education systems in the world. Being a qualified attorney in South Africa limits me quite a bit in terms of the scope of what I can do. Laws are quite based on jurisdictions, so different countries have different laws, of course. There are so many universities to choose from, so choosing a place with great education was also really important to us. I'm thinking of applying for a master's. I might take you along with that process, but I'm not sure what, and I really don't want to rush into anything. The third pull factor is cycling. And before you laugh when I say cycling, in case you don't know, the Netherlands is famous for, I think, having the most bicycles in the world. And I didn't really experience anything like it until we moved here. But absolutely everyone cycles around. And what that really means for us is really promoting a healthy lifestyle. And I mean, I see 80-year-old ladies with their gray hair and their canes strapped to their back, riding around on their bicycles on the daily. That always makes me smile, and one day when I'm 80, I hope to be able-bodied. And I think choosing a place where a healthy lifestyle is incorporated into everyday aspects, like commuting to work, I think that's really amazing. In South Africa, there's no way you're walking around to places. Everything is too far and it's too hilly in a lot of areas, and unfortunately not always safe enough to walk. So you drive everywhere, and I call myself a Labrador because I need to have a walk every single day, otherwise I go absolutely nuts. So having a walk incorporated into doing my groceries and going to the shops, and for my husband going to the office, it's just been really lovely for us. Up next is the cultural diversity. In case you didn't know, Amsterdam is home to over, I think, 160 nationalities. So that makes it one of the most culturally diverse cities in the entire world. Specifically for us being South Africans, as of May of 2022, there are about 35,000 South Africans living in the Netherlands. It would probably be more by now. I mean, in the city where I live, I know at least 12 South Africans whom I either studied with or studied with friends of mine, or whom I've met or whom I've had multiple conversations with. So there's quite a sense of community for me, specifically as a South African coming here and being able to speak to people in my native tongue Up next, and that kind of attaches to my previous point of South Africans, our native language and my first language is called Afrikaans. It's a Dutch dialect that evolved when the Dutch came and colonized South Africa in the 1600s. So it's quite similar to Dutch. Their grammar is completely different and I'm struggling at times. Afrikaans speaking people tend to understand the language a lot better and are able to learn Dutch a lot quicker. So that was also another pull factor. Being in a foreign country, being able to learn a language quicker than the average and having an unfair advantage to use to your benefit, it just made a lot of sense for us. And also, I don't think this is like a pull reason. This is more just personal feelings for Jacques and I. But when we decided to move to a new country, we took the amalgamation aspect of it really seriously. We really want to integrate into our community and we want to make friends with the locals. Even though I just said it's nice to have South Africans, that just helps with loneliness, especially in the beginning. Lastly, I don't know if many other countries would have this issue, but South Africa doesn't have any reliable public transport. The closest thing we have are taxis, and they are so illegal, they are so damaged. There are no rules, they drive very lawlessly. So I would not recommend taking a minibus if you ever decide to visit South Africa, or a taxi. Having public transport that is on time and clean and safe has been such a luxury for us. The other weekend we decided just on impulse to hop on the train and go to Belgium. We visited Antwerp, which is just a 45-minute commute from our town, and it was so great for Jacques and I. We were literally smiling like children the whole way through. So excited to be on a public train and being able to use it and not having to drive ourselves. Having the time on the commute to focus on other things is so nice, and I think a lot of people take it for granted. So if you're in a position where you commute a lot, just remember to be thankful. There are countries out there where public transport is not an option at all. So those were the pull factors. I want to preface the push factors by saying that this is by no means a bashing South Africa video. I am mad about my country. I don't think anywhere else in the world can match South Africa in terms of the lifestyle, the sunshine and the good weather, all the options for activities, the outdoors, the nature, the mountains, the wine farms, the food and the people. Maybe it's just because I'm from South Africa, but I find it really precious. And there are so many parts of South Africa that I adore, which is what made this decision to move over so difficult, especially in winter. But that being said, there were a couple of push factors for Jacques and I. The first push factor I don't think can come as a surprise at all to anyone, but that is the crime and safety in South Africa. I think in any country in the world, if you're streetwise and you know what you're doing, you won't be put in harm's way. I mean, I lived in South Africa for 20 of my 25 years. And during those 20 years, living in one of the most dangerous countries in the world, I only felt personally unsafe once or twice. And funnily enough, those were inflicted while I was on the job, but that's a story for another time. I made it out completely unscathed, but regardless of the fact that I was lucky, it's not nice as a woman to never feel safe walking alone, to never be able to run on your own, to not go out into the nature without a partner or a friend or someone accompanying you, living in security complexes, having security services hired. For me, my female experience was, it was exhausting to be scared and vigilant a lot of the time and to just not have freedom. It felt like you were trapped a lot of the times by the safety choices you were making. Hello everyone, this is Future Editing Me. I've just looked through the footage about me speaking on safety in South Africa, and I just want to say two things. First of all, I am completely aware of the fact that I was extremely privileged to be able to live in areas in the country where I wasn't as regularly faced with the challenges of safety and crime. I am aware that so many people in my country have it so much worse, and around the world for that matter. So I just want to preface that and say that I am completely aware of the privilege that I was living in within South Africa, and my heart goes out sincerely to those people who aren't able to escape the day-to-day dangers that so many people face. Every day since I've been in the Netherlands, I go for a walk completely on my own, and I'm able to go on my phone, which you would never be able to do in South Africa. You have to be vigilant and keep your eyes open for anything. I swear the robbers in South Africa know how to target someone who isn't focused. So being able to walk alone and feel safe and not constantly look over my shoulder has been, I think the best word is freeing. I feel so free. The next push factor is employment and career opportunities. I don't want to touch on this too much. In essence, there are policies in place to advantage the previously disadvantaged. Because of these policy choices, a lot of people find that their career opportunities are dwindling, and this leads people to feeling pushed into pursuing career opportunities in other countries. I think we have such a big problem in South Africa with skilled workers leaving the country. They call it like the skilled worker dysphoria. I'm not here to discuss that, but it is a very common phenomenon, unfortunately, in South Africa, that a lot of people are forced to pursue opportunities in other countries. That was a really big factor for us. The third push factor is corruption. We have a lot of political instability at the moment in the country. If you don't know, South Africa has had what they call load shedding, which in essence is when government turns off the electricity of the whole country for a couple of hours on end to shed the load of demand of energy. So in other words, you are basically sitting at home for 4 hours with no power. That means you cannot cook, you cannot work, you are not connected to the internet. A lot of companies have made provision for that, and a lot of people have generators, but honestly, I find it completely unacceptable that citizens in South Africa that pay tax are paying tax at a first world rate and receiving third world level amenities and benefits. So that was a really big personal push factor. And then the last push factor was the strength of our currency, which is called the rand. It's been progressively declining over the past 2 decades to the point where people are really worried about the value of their assets. For example, right now, the exchange rate between the South African rand and the euro, I think it's 20 rand to 1 euro, and that is just crazy. I remember visiting Europe, I think 10 years ago, and the exchange rate being something like maybe 10 rand or 11 rand to a euro. So in the past decade, it's really gone downhill. So that concludes my reasons as to why we moved. I just want to say again that by no means makes it easy. All of these push and pull factors were factual ones. It completely negates all of the emotional aspects of leaving your motherland, of leaving your friends, of leaving your family, of leaving everything you know behind and moving into the unknown. All of that said, I am so excited for my next visit to South Africa. I am going back in 2 weeks' time to visit for a family member's 70th birthday. And also I want to say that it is not easy to move overseas. There were a lot of days when I looked like this, and you're really struggling to understand why you made this decision. In the same breath, I can say that since coming to the Netherlands, Jacques and I have experienced some amazing things. I mean, we jumped on the train and visited Belgium for the first time. I went to the Cologne Festival for the first time in my life. I'm learning a foreign language. I'm getting to know foreigners that are now my locals. I get to live in a first world country, and it is such a privilege, and I'm so grateful and thankful for our opportunity to be here. Alrighty, so that concludes today's video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to subscribe down below. And if you want to watch another video, I'll put one up here. And I hope you have an amazing day further. Bye!